everyone. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Mused by Mariah, the podcast. Today, I am going to be talking about a topic that has not been discussed on my site, and I have a very special guest. Her name is Elizabeth, and she is a trauma and chronic pain specialist, and she also does some ancestral clearing methods, which we're going to be discussing. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to get into this topic of ancestral clearing.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, Mariah.
This is going to be great. So, before we even get into what ancestral clearing is, do you want to just give the listeners a little bit of a background, exactly what you do, what your brand is, and how you came into this line of work?
Thank you. Yes. So I'm a stress management specialist, historical trauma specialist, addiction recovery coach, and ancestral clearing practitioner. I also teach yoga and meditation as part of the stress management. It sounds like a lot of things, but it's all under the
same
umbrella of stress management. Yeah. And I got into this work originally because I suffered with chronic pain for over 40 years of my life. And I finally found a way to heal from it 10 years ago. And I had so many doctors that said to me, "You'll never heal. You know, here are your opiates and your benzodiazepines, your anti-anxiety medicine. This is the best we can do." And I really felt that was more of a reflection of the limitation in the medical model they were using than it was a reflection of the body's ability to heal. So it's such a big deal, and chronic pain is such a chronic stress and chronic pain are so rampant in our society. I just felt like, my voice probably would be helpful.
Definitely.
So I came online in 2014 and started this business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've been doing it for almost a decade now, since we're in 2023 now. Awesome. So
Yep.
we are going to be getting more into the ancestral clearing stuff that you do. Do you want to just give, before we even start, is this tied in any way to like healing your inner child wounds, inner child trauma? Do you use that terminology, or is this a completely separate topic?
It intersects. It's not a separate topic. Ancestral clearing, the process, is a modality that was trademarked and registered by John Newton of Health Beyond Belief. I'm one of his practitioners. And in the work, in the ancestral clearing work, we're doing anything we need to clean up the past. So it can be the past in this lifetime, or it can be a past in the lineage. Most likely, if it's an issue that's an inner child issue, it probably has a root in the lineage. Right. Grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great. It probably has a root in there. We have 5 different techniques that we use in ancestral clearing. I can share one of them with you today nicely on the podcast so that the audience can get a sense of how it feels. But through the other 4 techniques, we can actually help someone who's got an inner child issue and see kind of where that root is. By the process that we use, we can kind of tell where the root is. It's a self-revelatory process. And we end up doing a lot of inner child work. We just kind of don't call it that, but it intersects in that space. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I have a podcast episode already about healing your inner child wounds and just how I'm doing that in my current life. And I think what a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, but what some people miss about this healing journey and the spiritual journey is you can do so many things in your day-to-day life. But if you do not tackle what has happened in the past, through your generations, during your childhood, it's very hard to feel content with the work that you're putting into your day-to-day life without getting to that root. Do you agree?
Oh, yes. It's like swimming upstream.
Oh my
You're
gosh,
just going to hit resistance. Right. You're
Definitely.
just going to hit resistance. Um, One of the ways I like to look at the space that we're in is that we actually in Ancestral Clearing, we and we would do this in inner child work as well. Um, we're when we work in the present moment, that's where we do the healing. We can't heal in the past and we can't heal in the future, so we heal in the present moment. But what's happening in the present moment? Well, quantum physics tells us that in the present moment, we can access past, present, and future all at once. Now, that's interesting to me. That gives me an idea. I have this kind of sciencey, nerdy background, so I kind of I like to have a foot in that when I'm talking about stuff like this. Um, so if you think about it in terms of, we can access past, present, and future all at once, you can think in a couple of terms. One, we're all connected in this moment in consciousness. We're all connected in the same moment, right? But we're also connected in the past. All the information that our ancestors went through trial and tribulation, one generation after another, actually all of that trial and error lives in our bones. It actually lives here, and quantum physics tells us that that's true. So I'm really just painting the landscape for, yes, we do. We need to clean up the past in order to really step into our potential in the present moment. And we we leverage the quality of the present moment in order to do that cleaning. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yes. So how do you even start? Where do you start? If it's with yourself or a client, or like what's step one?
Yes. So, well, actually, the first step is being present. And for a client, the key ingredient is wanting the help. So that's really important. We have ethics in this practice because it's very powerful, and we don't. If I was walking down the street and I saw someone with a broken leg and they hadn't asked me for the help, I don't offer the help. I don't offer the work without being asked. So we have ethics in this because who am I to like, who am I to like get in the way of somebody else's path, right? So asking for help. The other thing is that in this work, as I said, we're kind of all in one we're hanging out and all in one moment, in this moment, but we're also connected into the past, present, and future all at once. So we're referencing this space that we all live in. And in this work, we actually ask the source of all that is, the thing that created all this consciousness, God, creator, infinite, whatever you want to call that. We actually ask that to help us. As a practitioner would be the client. We ask the source of all it is to please help us release that which no longer serves us. And we use the word forgiveness to mean releasing that which no longer serves us. So about 80% of the practice is forgiveness work, meaning we're asking for help and releasing that which which no longer serves us. So as an example, if something happened to me, somebody maybe transgressed me, and I have difficulty forgiving them because I'm mad or whatever, I have a resentment or I'm hurt or whatever the thing is, that's actually hurting me. That actually, will make me sick if I'm hanging on to that. But clearly I don't know how to let it go because I'm so attached to it. In that case, though, this is why it's so helpful to ask source, God, creator, to help us release it. So we ask it to help us release, because clearly we can't do it by ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So that's the process. And then, and the way we do that is in the structure of a prayer to source or whatever the client calls that power. And you don't have to believe in a higher power for this work to work. You just need to want help.
Yes.
You
That's a
know,
good point.
gravity, we don't have to believe in gravity for it to act on us.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of like that. Right. So, so we actually put a prayer together that kind of has 4 pillars, and I can take you through one to see you have an experience that you
Definitely.
have an experience, the listeners have experience, where we're bringing in again, source, creator, God, and we're asking for forgiveness for certain things, whatever the thing is we're holding on to, and we're doing it with gratitude and humility. We add please and thank you for gratitude and humility. And I'll take you through. It'll take me about maybe 2.5, 3 minutes to go through
Perfect.
a full one, but I think I'll take everyone through.
Yeah, let's do it.
If everyone listening to this could just sit quietly, comfortably, and just notice the sensation you're feeling in the body.
Do you recommend
And
closing our eyes?
you can close
Like in
your
a
eyes if you
meditative
want. I
state?
just sit
Okay.
comfortably and let these words pass over you. Some people, if they don't feel safe to close their eyes, that's fine. You might just kind of a soft gaze in front of you somewhere to kind of help you stay present. We want you to be able to stay present and let these words just flow over you. Infinite Creator, source of all that is, was, and never will be. We ask humbly and gratefully that you help everyone listening to this in all of their relationships through all time, dimension, lives, lifetimes, and incarnations, and all of their ancestors and all of their relationships. For all the times they felt let down by life, by family members, by relationships, by anyone representing the Creator. For any time they felt let down by the Creator in any name or form, and for any time they turned their back on the Creator or believed the Creator turned his back on them. Please help all to forgive each other and forgive themselves, be at peace with one another and at peace with themselves. Please and thank you. For all the times you weren't nurtured, loved, supported, and cherished. Please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves. For the times you didn't nurture, love, and support others in the ways they needed. For any time you were out of integrity with another or another out of integrity with you. Please help all of you to forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. For all war, battle, Holocaust, persecution, slavery, injustice of any kind. Any oppression, misuse of power, position, authority, politically, spiritually, or in any other way. For any misuse of the power of the word. Please help everyone involved to forgive one another, forgive themselves, and find peace with one another, and find peace with themselves. Please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, financial, through thought, word, or action. All of you to another, and another to all of you. Please help you all forgive each other and forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. For all suicide, incest, murder, rape, abortion, infidelity, miscarriage, all of it. Everyone involved directly or indirectly. For all that happened and all you made it mean. Please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves. Find peace with one another and find peace with yourselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs to the earth, the life of the earth, Native, Indigenous, First Nation, and Aboriginal people. Please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves for all that happened. Please and thank you. Once and for all, please and thank you. For any time you believe, felt, or shown you weren't enough. For the times you tried to earn or learn your way into the value of your family, your relationships, or into the grace and love of the Creator. For all that led up to this, please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves and be at peace with one another and at peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. For all empathic hurts and wrongs, times you took on others' unresolved issues or shouldered their burdens. For all adversity, struggle, and hardship you saw, especially as children. Please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves and find peace with one another, find peace with yourselves. All family members' relationships, times this was done to you, times you did this to others. Please and thank you, Infinite Creator, all that you are. Please and thank you. For the times you weren't shown or encouraged to stand up, speak up, and do things your way. For the times you didn't feel safe to say no when appropriate. Please help all of you to forgive your parents, your family members, and relationships, and help them all forgive you and help you all forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. For the times you were attacked, blamed, judged, and misunderstood. Times you did this to others, please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves now and forever, please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs, anything we could have inferred, had it served the highest good, we infer it now. For all that happened and all you made it mean, everything that led up to, hurts, wrongs, limitations, burden of any kind that's not serving the highest good. We ask all of you, everyone involved, to forgive your parents, your grandparents, siblings, children, grandchildren. Help them forgive you and help you all forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. Help you forgive your lovers, spouses, lovers, parents' lovers. Help them forgive you and help you all forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. Your whole family and lineage. Help you forgive your cousins, aunts, uncles, step, in-laws, hidden, secret, foster, adopted, and all other significant people, beings, family members, relationships, role models, and authority figures. Help them all forgive you and help you all forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. Infinite Creator, all that you truly are. Please lift out all weight, pain, burden, sin, death, debt, negativity, the limitations, spells, hexes, curses, white magic, black magic, real or imagined, and all superstition energy. Lift them into your heavens and transform it into your love, and let your love flow back into them. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. Take a breath in and let it out, and just notice how that feels.
That was great, Elizabeth. I needed that,
Yeah.
especially after this week I had.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In terms of the prayer, do you do anything else? I know you said you're a yogi and you do meditation as well. So do you have any other like journaling or any other actions that you incorporate into this line of work too on top of the prayer service?
Yes, one of the other techniques incorporates directed breath, which again, if we can kind of direct our mind to the breath as we, in a certain way, it helps us stay present, and it helps us to clear things. So we add directed breath. Another thing I do is I took the 1-year training with Dr. Gabor Mate in compassionate inquiry, and that, which is a beautiful approach to this space. It's not ancestral clearing. It does have some things in common with it. It accesses the present moment, et cetera, but it does some other things. Actually, in compassionate inquiry, it's interesting you asked that, because in compassionate inquiry, we are actually referencing, we don't actually reference the lineage, we reference the past and often land in inner child territory. Mm-hmm. We often land in like a 5-year-old, or maybe in the crib, or maybe even an infant, maybe even in an incubator, right? It's kind of pre-verbal to verbal, but it's a slightly different, it's kind of different questions and slightly different approach. So depending on the client that's in front of me and their needs and kind of what's coming up in the present moment, I'll bring in compassionate inquiry as an adjunct to ancestral clearing. Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain a little bit more the difference between, say, what's the term again?
Mm-hmm. Yes, compassionate inquiry. Yeah, there's another. Yeah. So in another thing about ancestral clearing versus compassionate inquiry, in ancestral clearing, we're actually going for an outcome. We're going for a clearing. In compassionate inquiry, we don't have an agenda. We're actually just, as a practitioner, we ask the client what their intention is, and we're there to serve the client really as a mirror, and to kind of hold a safe space. So, as an example, if someone came in and said, I have anxiety, in ancestral clearing, we would go right into where do you feel that in the body, and then that would take, that's a different technique than I just did, but we would take where do you feel that in the body, and that would give us an idea of kind of where it is, and different places on the body where energy is stored actually takes us into, so like for instance, the left side of the neck, on the side of the neck in this practice, would be women blame, judged, and misunderstood, or women blaming, judging, and misunderstanding others, right? So if you've got tightness there, that would start us, and then we would really, the present moment has so much information in it. It's hard to really explain it because it's very experiential, but there's a lot of information in the present.
As an example?
Sure, absolutely. We could use you as a client.
It's definitely gotten a lot better over the years, but I used to have extremely bad panic attacks, and almost on a daily basis, I would get anxiety. And over the years, I definitely have overcome it. I've still get panic attacks every so often, but it was almost on like a bi-weekly basis that I would get a very, very bad one. And when I transitioned into the holistic lifestyle, I noticed that it minimized for sure, but I still get like flare-ups of anxiety, but I feel it mostly in like my upper body, shoulders, chest, and like sometimes my stomach area, but not like upper stomach. So what would that kind of be?
Where do you feel it in this moment? Would it be okay if we did a little session right now?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Where do you feel it when you talk about it? Where are you feeling it right in this moment?
Right here. Like it's kind of like a V. So I feel it here. And then it's just very tight. Like you said, in the neck, I have very tightness up here.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of both here.
Okay.
Would it be okay for you to just sit with that for a moment?
Okay.
The sensation of that. Yeah, the tightness. And just give it some space, just to be what it is. Breathing, just breathing normally the best you can, and you give it some space. And if you had to give that a number from 0 to 10 in intensity, what would the number be in this moment?
I think me putting a focus on it might make it a little bit worse. So I would say right now it's probably at like a 6, 5, 6.
Okay.
Like if I'm distracted, us talking, I don't feel it. But when you brought it up, I'm like, oh
no, we want it.
I wonder what that is.
Yeah, we want to give it some attention. It's trying to get our attention. Let's give it some attention. Give that part of you a voice. Yeah. Okay, so a 5 or 6. Is this the first time you ever felt that?
No, I will say I recently, within the beginning of this year, I started taking ashwagandha. I'm not sure if you're familiar. And it has helped so much. And in times of before, when I would get anxiety, the physical symptoms, they were just so bad. But now it's the same things that used to trigger me. I don't feel it physically, even though I'm like, oh, I should be stressed. I should feel anxiety because this is what I used to get. Now I don't feel it as much, but there is times like right now, I feel like I'm like this, even though I'm not.
Okay. So that's the right side is that your right side?
Both sides. I feel
both sides are like that.
It feels like I'm lifting my shoulders, even though I'm like, they're not lifted. They just feel like tense.
Yeah. Put your attention on all that. Put your attention on the tense where you're feeling that. Breathe normally and just wait for an image or memory to come to you. First image or memory that comes in, let it come right to you. Don't look for it, just let it come in.
The first memory that came was, so I worked a lot of hours this past week, and I feel like the reason why I feel so exhausted and drained is because I literally finally clocked out for the week at 4 o'clock. But before that, the memory that I had after that actually was me walking in New York City, because when I would have my panic attacks and anxiety, sometimes I had to leave class for the day and just walk blocks around the city to calm down, because that was the only way that it would become more of like a tolerable anxiety feeling. So I just had like a vision of me walking around the city after that.
Yeah, so the walking helped you kind of release some of that energy in a gentle way. Is that accurate?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. When's the first time you ever remember having a panic attack?
I was 17.
What was stressful in your life around then?
Relationship and home life.
Okay. Relationship and home life, which was bigger, because they're two
The
different things, kind
relationship.
of. The relationship. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't we just do a clearing on relationships? We'll just do that. Where do you feel that now in the body as we talk about it?
It was
In this moment, where are you feeling it now in the body?
It's the upper body, the
Yeah.
torso,
Okay.
same area.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Just breathe normally. I'm just going to do an out loud, kind of off the cuff kind of clearing for you.
Okay.
For Mariah and all of her ancestors through all space, time, dimension, realms, lifetimes, and incarnations, and all their relationships. For any time anyone was let down in a relationship, betrayed, for all miscommunication in relationships, even though everyone's heart was in the right place. Again, for all betrayal, for all misunderstanding, for any vendettas in the lineage that went unresolved, for any issues in arranged marriages. Please help you all forgive each other, help you all forgive yourselves, please and thank you. For all sexual hurts and wrongs, for all resentment, for all shame, guilt, any disconnection, for all rejection and abandonment, and for all unresolved grief in the lineage. For any time anyone in relationship bore the burden of the responsibility for the relationship, for all codependent behaviors. Again, for any unresolved grief around relationship issues. For all these issues and all issues like it in the entire lineage, everything that led up to them, everything that arose from them, all anyone made them mean, all unhealthy, limiting beliefs, conclusions and judgments about them, all the letdown because they happened, any inverse burden, and any time anyone felt the effects of any of this in the womb. Please help you all forgive and release one another, find peace with one another, and find peace with yourselves, now and forever, no matter what it was, for once and for all. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. Now take a nice big breath in and let it out, and just notice how that feels. Did it move at all? Is it big or small or different?
I definitely feel like when I do things like this, whether it's meditation or journaling, I am able to it just feels like I'm lifting a weight that definitely has already been lifted, but I'm just lifting it even more, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
it does. We do feel lighter. I'm going to take you into one more thing because of where it is. If you could take your thumbs and put them right under your armpit, each armpit, and then the hands right where you said the Y kind of was, and just we're not we're not pushing hard. We're just holding there, firmly but gently. And I just want you to find a nice, easy way. Find a gentle, comfortable breath in that space, and we'll just hang here for maybe 30 seconds. One more big breath. And then release the hands down and notice how that feels. Bigger, smaller, different. Did the energy move at all?
The energy definitely feels, I'm seeing yellow, like a color, like brighter.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Instead of like a dark blue, it's more of a, I'm seeing yellow, whites, peach, bright colors.
How does that feel in the kind of in the upper chest area? As we were at a 6. Yeah.
Oh no, it's definitely down.
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe a 3
Yeah. Okay.
or a 4.
Wow, we should do a little bit more actually. But this work with the hands under the armpit and a little bit of pressure here. Those are the lung meridians, and they hold grief. And it's a little trauma informed yoga move, but it's a great way to kind of, if you can find some breath there, it's a way of releasing some of that energy that can get stuck there from grief. Yeah. Also the work, because we were at a 6 and now we're kind of at a 3, and it will continue to kind of unwind.
Yeah.
As we talk. We'll check in another couple of minutes and see how that settled. We don't usually like to leave people at a 3, but I'd like to kind of see. We like to get you to a 2 or a 1.
Yeah. No, I definitely think we can get down to there.
Yeah.
For sure. I think, like I said, me focusing on it, it rises. And then once you do the breath work, the meditation, it'll go down.
Yeah. So
that time.
So here's another question. Put your attention on that 3 just for now. Whatever's left in the body there. If your body could speak right now, what would it say?
It would say thank you.
Okay.
For doing this work. I put myself through a lot of years of not good things, and I'm still young. I'm 24, and I'm taking this different approach to life in the past couple of years. And I think my body, my mind, my soul are grateful for that. And then doing episodes like this and speaking with people who have knowledge and different niches and categories and learning more about ways to help. And it just, not only am I doing this podcast for listeners and viewers, but it's for myself too.
Understood.
And I'm so grateful that you are taking the time and speaking about this, and not only informing me, but informing the listeners on different ways and bringing ancestral clearing to Mused by Mariah, and informing people that this is something that everyone can do, should do. And like you said before, it doesn't matter what your religion is, if it's a higher being, God, whoever. It's as long as you want the help, then you'll get the help.
Exactly.
Which I love.
Wonderful. I used to have panic attacks myself. And I work with people that are in recovery from addiction, and their nerve systems can be very, very, in early recovery, they can be really wound up. I know I was. I was. And I do teach something called bilateral EFT tapping, which is another one of the another one of the
Mm-hmm.
techniques that we use in ancestral clearing. It's not regular tapping. It's kind of a different animal, and it's very effective at when somebody's really charged up with a craving or like with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
If they can do what I do and say what I say, they can be down in about 30 seconds.
Oh,
so
wow.
so it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it would take a little bit to teach that, but I mean, more than we have time in this podcast, but I'm just
Yeah.
putting it out there. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, if you feel like you're getting tense and a panic attack is coming on, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
make a suggestion that you cover the right nostril and you
Okay.
breathe in long and deep on the left side, long and
Okay.
deep.
I'm going to write this down.
Yeah. Left nostril breathing only. Left nostril, long and deep, at least 3 minutes.
Okay.
That will stimulate the calming center in the brain and help you regulate your vagus nerve, which is the thing that's going off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that's really activated, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll help you regulate your vagus nerve. It's a way to hack the nervous system
Mm-hmm.
quickly when you're in that state. Left nostril breathing stimulates the calming center in the brain. So that's kind of a quick thing you can take
Yeah, that's
anywhere.
great.
If you want to learn bilateral EFT tapping, come to me and I'll teach you. But you can't
Yeah.
find that on the internet. That's not. It's something that John teaches in his advanced practitioner training, and I teach it when people want to learn it. I teach it, but
Uh-huh.
I don't have it on the internet. So
That is a
anyway,
great tip. I literally wrote it down because I'm going
excellent.
to do that next time.
Yeah, it's
But
amazing.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for not only talking about ancestral clearing, but
Mhm.
walking me through kind of a mini session and giving me ways to kind of help this, even though I said it's definitely gotten a lot better, but there's times when I have flare-ups and I know how to handle it. I have the resources and tools,
Mhm.
but I'm just adding more things because depending on where I'm at or the situation, it's kind of hard. Like sometimes I can't just go outside and go for a walk depending on where I am.
Of
So
course.
having things like tools and tips like that can definitely help not only myself, but listeners who can resonate with this and kind of tackle it in the moment or even stop it before it arises. And I know you just mentioned about your website, but if you want to just quickly say any of the other places that people can find you, if you miss any of this, do not worry because I'm going to put everything in the show notes too.
Perfect. Yes. You can find me at elizabeth-kipp.com. You got to put the dash in there because elizabethkipp.com is a web designer and a photographer, but she's not me. She's amazing. She's not me. So elizabeth-kipp.com. And I'm all over social media. You can find me anywhere. Message me. I'd be happy to set something up. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
that'll be great. And like I said, if you missed it, it'll all be in the show notes. And make sure you follow me at Muse by Mariah _ on Instagram. And I will link the Muse by Mariah, the podcast Facebook group, so you can get the latest podcast episodes notifications right to your inbox. So thank you again, Elizabeth, for joining. This was such a great episode. I'm so excited. And I just feel great. So thank you again for joining.
Well, thank you so much, Mariah. It was my pleasure.